Mo Wenny, you're watching my favorite YouTube channel. I am Chillmonger. I read a Hollywood Reporter article. It was covering Lupita Nyong'o. You know which part I cared about the most. Lupita Nyong'o is not a hit piece on her. I have very nice things to say about her. Hey, regardless of how you feel about the Woman King movie, she rejected that role. She said no to it. Well, she said yes, then she changed her mind and said no to it. She has standards. She believes in something strongly enough. One of them being the images that we see on our screen, who we glorify. And again, no matter how you feel about it or not, we have to commend that. And this is a conscious, I was going to say the word woke. Can't do that because sometimes white people watch this show. White people, that's not what woke means. But Lupita Nyong'o is not a hit piece on her. She says, or the article says here somewhere in the middle, with Boseman's death, the future of the franchise that had meant so much to so many was suddenly unclear. She says, losing your centerpiece, everything changed. When you say the world rotated around him, it revolved around him. It did. The Black Panther writer-director Ryan Coogler and his co-writer, Joe Robert Cole, had written a script for Black Panther sequel that centered on Boseman's character and his evolution as a leader. Just pause. Man, I'd love to see that script focused on the leader, given T'Challa so much screen time. And I heard in that interview from, what was his name? Executive producer Nate Moore, that Chadwick had conversations about the original script, the director. So this would have been a juicy movie. He'd have had a lot of input, the things that we're missing out on. It says, the script we wrote before Chadwick passed was very much rooted in T'Challa's perspective. It was a massive movie, but also simultaneously a character study. Oh my, a character study of T'Challa? You mean the Black Panther, the main character of the franchise? That would have been awesome. Delved deeply into his psyche and situation. Marvel decided against very correct wording. Marvel decided this. They were not forced a hand. So whoever wrote this article, was it Rebecca? I'll scroll up later, or maybe I won't, but thank you. That is exactly what happened. The studio decided we wouldn't recast. No outside force kept them from recasting. The movie, or rather Chadwick died in August of 2020. They didn't start filming until a year later, and they decided really quickly, according to an interview, that's how quickly, matter of minutes, they decided not to recast. It says, deeming it too soon. If it was too soon, and everyone agrees that I am not you, Marvel, if you're watching my video, I'd have gotten over the death of Chadwick Boseman sooner than it seems you did. But whether it was too soon or not, you did not need to end the character. If it was too soon, you could wrote in the script, someone like a stunt double, the same guy who's still alive right now, who was in the first movie and all the other Black Panther appearances, you know, the stunt actor, could have had him in that suit by T'Challa, and he could have went off to space. Where's T'Challa going to? He's trying to figure out how Thanos' sword could break Captain America's vibranium shield. What's stronger than vibranium? T'Challa's out in space to figure it out. You could have had the first line of the movie go, Queen Ramonda talking to Shuri. Shuri, don't break that. When T'Challa gets back, he's not going to be happy. And we would have, oh, T'Challa must be gone. We would have just registered, okay, that's cool. T'Challa's not on screen. It was too soon to recast? Fine. Blessed. Like, I can accept that it was too soon to recast, even though I would have recast. I do not accept ceasing the existence of this fictional character because the actor died, and ending the greatest Black and most influential character in film with dark skin tone. I said in film, I didn't say superheroes only. And yes, with superhero wise, we could have had him be the next Superman. It possibly could have happened. This guy was itching and crawling into that top 10. Wolverine is bigger than Black Panther. Spider-Man, I would say Captain America and Iron Man are. I'd give it to Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman also. That's like 7 heroes that I named. Excuse me. The Black Panther was on the verge of usurping some of those names, and by taking him out of the picture, did damage to racial progress. It says, too soon. A decision that sparked debate among some fans who feared that losing T'Challa as a character in pop culture hurt the audiences, especially Black boys and men who saw themselves in him. Okay, I have a little bit of an issue. Not that it's not true, but especially the Black boys and the men who saw themselves in him. What about the white kids who grew up in a world where the resources of like $200 million budgets usually go to white characters and focus on them? What if they grew up in a world where there was also this constant guy named T'Challa who just there receiving the same adulation, getting the same amount of publicity, he's on the cereal boxes, and they grew up in a world where Black Panther was worthy of that? How much of a less racist world is that? That's progress. That's racial progress. So we also deprived diversity. Hot potatoing the mantle and giving it to someone else dilutes the Black Panther name or the value of it. Oh, anyone could be the Black Panther. Eh? I had like the last 20 years, there have been 8 Spider-Man films. All of them were Peter Parker. You get it? Superman, it's always been Clark Kent. Batman's always been Bruce Banner. I'm not a real fan. Okay, it says, Nyong'o says she supports Marvel's decision not to recast T'Challa, which, that's your opinion, right, Lupita Nyong'o? I'm not touching, I'm not insulting you. That is not the death of the Black Panther. That's the whole point, Nyong'o says. I feel like that doesn't address the question. My question, the question that she may have heard before her response of, that's not the death of the Black Panther, maybe they asked him, why would you kill the Black Panther? My criticism, complaint is coming from the angle of the main, the superhero that the actor died and now the character is going to die. So I'm talking about this one dude. Say it with me, guys. His name is T'Challa. The main character. So that she did a little Nate Moore where they make it seem like it's about the mantle. It's not about the word Black Panther. I didn't question, well, how do they justify calling this movie Black Panther if there's not a Black Panther? I didn't say that. I understand that other people can be the Black Panther, but I also understand that there are generations in Marvel Comics, because I read comic books, that's what I do. And in the 616 continuity, the present, the Black Panther has been T'Challa. Majority of it. There was a blip where Shuri was the Black Panther too. It was a short period of time. And even then, when Shuri was the Black Panther, there's this Black Panther, Man Without Fear. There was a comic book that was being sold about T'Challa being in New York City, running around, fighting bad guys like the Hate Monger and fighting like all these comics. There are more comics of the Black Panther, I should say this way. They covered T'Challa during Shuri's reign as Black Panther more than they covered Shuri during Shuri's reign of Black Panther. More pages and art and dedication went to this guy because he's the lead. No disrespect to any actress right now, Lupita Nyong'o. No disrespect to the fictional character of Shuri. I enjoy both of these, but let's deal with the facts. So that is not the death of the Black Panther. That's the whole point, Nyong'o says. It's laying to rest T'Challa and allowing for real life to inform the story of the movies. Pause again. Real life informing the story of Wakanda. Wakanda is based out of not real life. This is Africa that wasn't robbed of its resources and the potential of what could have been if it invested in itself and it had no one from the outside to play with them. That's not real life. We know the ugly truth. You know the ugly truth too, Lupita Nyong'o. And I don't want real life to inform anything that happens in Wakanda. It's fantasy. So this is not the space for real life. This is what could be. This is inspiration. We didn't need the main character of Black Panther to die, T'Challa. I know that there are all sorts of reasons why people want him to be recast. Black representation, lead representation, racial progress. But I don't have the patience. Answer. She says, I don't have the presence of mind. Valid. Or, I don't have the objectivity to argue with that. I'm very biased. I appreciate the truth coming from Lupita Nyong'o. I want to give a standing ovation, but I like that answer. She recognized my side of the opinion. Nate Moore does this too, where he goes, well, I see where you guys are coming from. We just couldn't do it. Yes, there's an emotional hump that they need to get over, or get past, I should say. Okay, as long as we're dealing in reality, because I hate going on Twitter and hearing fans say, oh, this, and that. And then here's the actors and here's the executive going, I understand where you're coming from. And I'm like, boom. Like, this is where conversations can be had. Conversations. Or you can watch my videos, Marvel, and you can be like, oh, I think we got some common ground here. But that's a great answer from Lupita Nyong'o. Her attachment to the project. And the closer you get to something, the tougher it is to see it. and I'll never take you for granted. Instead of recasting T'Challa, Coogler and Cole rewrote the script to include the character's death and reframed the story from another character's, a different Wakandan becoming Black Panther. The Black Panther has existed in Wakanda for centuries, so the notion of someone else picking up the mantle didn't seem inorganic. That is not my problem. I understand that if one Panther's down, another one will take its place. It literally happened just like that in the comics. The time where Shuri becomes Panther. He, T'Challa, was in some sort of like limbo, and he was fighting against this like basically death. And Storm came to meet him metaphysically, and there was like an alchemist wizard getting him there. I just reread these comics because I'm going to do a video covering it, so maybe I should just stay tuned and look forward to it, everybody. Nate Moore says this, the VP of Production Development at Marvel Studios and a producer on VP. He says, but once that had to become a reality, it didn't have to become a reality, you made it so. Then it was, okay, what makes the most sense for the story? Again, recasting would have. Who actually makes the most sense to take this thing on? Shuri would, because there's a precedence of her being next, except there's not forever stories. Shuri doesn't have Shuri villains. Shuri has a plot point. Her being the Black Panther was a story point. It wasn't a franchise. All of the characters in the film have a different idea of who should don the mantle and why. Don't really care about the plot of the film. Fans have speculated, based on a Lego toy and a trailer imagery of the female figure of Letitia Wright's character, T'Challa's sister, and her protector, yada yada yada. It says here, Lupita Nyong'o says, if I told you that, I might as well just swim in the ocean and never be seen again. I guess because of that secrecy stuff that they have over at Marvel. Just a few months after his death, she was in Kenya. I think that's the article. Or at least that's the parts of the article which I care about. So we're going to go to me. Hi, I'm Chillmonger, and here is a page out of that specific volume of Black Panther that shows you Shuri becoming the Black Panther. There up top is T'Challa. He is like an hour later after the mission. He's a little bit down and he's recuperating. If you read what that alchemist dude I was saying, Zofari, what's his name? He says over here, well, she says first, that's a picture of Shuri after she helped save the day. I don't know the Panther God was clear in his verdict. I am unworthy. And then this dude tells her, he says, not for glory, but for your people. And in doing so, you became the Black Panther. She officially recognizes her becoming the Black Panther. You see at the very end, bottom left, bottom right, you became the Black Panther. Is this man alive? Yes. He's alive the moment she's recognized as the Black Panther and the moment she accepts that she's the Black Panther. T'Challa does not need to be missing from the story. And again, I advertise or I plug that I'll be doing a video covering it with all the comic book pages screenshotted from Marvel Unlimited. That is coming. I just have to read all the comics. Again, I've read them initially, but I'm refreshing my mind just so I can get everything to show you how long Shuri was Black Panther and how it went, and it'll probably be like a 20-30 minute video. This won't be. This will be shorter. But when that comes out, please add it, like it, leave comments, share it. Until then, you listen, that's the Hollywood Reporter. Salute to Lupita Nyong'o for at least being honest. She cannot look at it objectively straight. Like, good. You can't, I know. I think you're an actor. You can perform. Your skill set is literally letting the real world go away and then you just focusing on the words that you have here and then the performance. You can do it. I believe in you. You can do it. A year after a man's death, I believe you can act. It would be weird, yes, how, like in Harry Potter, how dare you stand where he stood? If there was a new actor recast as T'Challa, you'd get over that pretty quickly. You'd welcome him. You, as a lover of progression, or I should say this, a talent who is black, being given an opportunity, you would be pleased for this new guy. It's like in basketball when players get traded from team to team or any sport. You're like, yeah, it sucks to see that DeMar DeRozan leave, but hey, Kawhi Leonard is here. I'm not going to hold any hate against Kawhi Leonard. He's going to help the Toronto Raptors win the championship. Good analogy? No? You let me know. Chillmonger.